Hello, hello. Here we are. Just like that. Christian stopped by a little while ago. Going to eat. He didn't say what he's going to eat. Food or Sunday with a cherry on top. Got the twit here tonight. Always a fun evening when the twits watch. Nope. It's been a rainier December than last year. But most of this rain comes at night. Some during the day, but goes away quick. Overcast skies are kind of welcomed here after a while because it helps filter the sun. Any way you slice it, it's better than that 16 above zero in Fahrenheit. God, man. Whenever I think I don't want to be here anymore, I just think of that shit. Let's see, outside you're still almost done skin cooking or skin coat, yeah. I had to get kind of mad at them to get them moving. It took them fucking 4 days or something to do a little bit. And when I complained, they picked up the pace. I said, hey, you did it like that, but when it came to getting the bonus for Christmas, they knock out a wall and a half. So it's all good. All good, man. Put the fork down, Kiko, and I was shopping for a new dog. The little poodle, little freaking rat looking things. No Bum Gene, they named one, I don't know what it is, but like $1,000 dog. Mother-in-law got him cheap. Hmm. She's got that other one too. Loca, but Loca's on her lap. She's real cute. Got that German Shepherd look, a real small one, some Chinese something. But keeps pissing on the freaking porch, you know? Can't have that. She knows you're about to tie her up at night 'cause she starts running away. Eagle having another audio malfunction. Didn't even know today was free. Man, book comments. There we go. Kiko, you there? You alive? Technical difficulties for the man from Keystone State. Tempted to go out to one of them boxes. Walked by a box that I had sent her. Some have been locked up for 4 years. I sent my Blu-ray player. I sent the power cord in another box. I want to watch my movies over here. I gotta use that one. I don't know why they do that. Coding on it. Well, my Packers are playing the Eagles Sunday, I think. That Packers defense sucks. And the other guy was fucking up for 3 years, and then all of a sudden, you got everybody to play good. And they can his ass, and that's some other guy coming here. Went from a 3-4 to a 4-3. One of their linebackers can't read. So. It's not the coach's fault because he had a different coach and he's still mucking it up. The slow internet speed there, huh? You need to get a regular laptop, man.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's what I was trying to hold on.
Can't fix it. You can't fix everything from that lazy boy.
Say again?
I said you can't fix everything from the lazy boy.
No, my son in college had left his old laptop, and I was trying to get on StreamYard for the first time using that.
Man,
The mic didn't work.
That was a pain in the ass doing that.
I sent you a message in the private chat saying, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me?" And you didn't see it.
I must have been out getting to the kitchen getting refreshments here.
No, it was just since the start of your stream.
Private
I was
chat.
there
Oh,
as soon as your entry video ended. I typed, "Can you hear me?"
yeah, I didn't get that. I think I muted the sound of. Well, it won't come anyway. I gotta look at it. I had to mute the sound because I got a different spyware now. And I was gotta mute. I muted the notifications. Get this little subtle noise, and then these pop-ups, and I'm like, I can't deal with that shit like that. So I just
Anyways,
turned them off.
we got a lovely 8 degrees here today, single digits.
Sounds good to me, man. It's 23 in Milwaukee. 23
23
F.
right now.
Yeah, right now.
Damn, that must mean a heat wave's coming eventually.
I hate that shit, man. I swear to God. My great grandmother family was from down in Calabria by the boot in Sicily, and that must be where I get that warm weather thing from because I can't stand that shit, man. I remember walking on that ice the last time I walked up my driveway. I thought, fucking, so glad I'm out of here. I'm in this. I run this air conditioner. My wife and my son can sit in without the air on all day. So I run this air conditioner in this media room, and then at night I shut it off. I turn it on at 6. Shut it off at 6 p.m. Go into the bedroom. Turn that one on. The mother-in-law was gone for 3 weeks up in Manila. There's a reunion that they postponed till third week of January, and she said, "Well, they already got their plane tickets and all that stuff." So without her being here, my electric bill was 1,000 pesos less. That's so much for very little.
How did she lose that much electric?
They got a way of getting a little bit from you here, and they get a little more, a little more. I'm still dealing with this fucking construction. Every time I'm almost near something, I had this idea to do something else. We were thinking about adopting a kid, but that's a two year wait. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
How old of a kid?
It could be any age. They got orphanages all over the place.
Oh, but I mean, you don't have one particular in mind right now.
No.
Okay.
Somebody for the other kid to come around with, but I don't want no. I don't. Usually a lot of damage has been done by the time the kid's 10. You get a little more on your Social Security thing for a while, but I mean, yeah, we haven't started it. I mean, there's you got to be a certain age and this and that. The wife qualifies, but I don't want all these people knowing my freaking income. I don't want it out there. It is around here when they show your income. All kinds of friends. Somebody next door here, he was chopping up the grass here and there last month, and he was. They put up some kind of, it looked like a storage shelter, and I'm thinking this guy ain't got shit, man. What they put that little structure up with was all, coca lumber, just soft as butter. Those trees are amazing how they can withstand a typhoon or hurricane, but yet the wood on them is so soft.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I rebuilt my wife's original home that got taken out by a typhoon.
This
That's why I That's why I built a hollow block.
And then the thing of it is out here, I mean, right in that spot, when we were putting the wall up, when we first started doing it, the water was coming like a river, man. So either because the grade of it doesn't really look that bad, but of course you got 3-4 foot of grass, you know. But it was like plugging a dam, you know. And the guy, and so mine's 3.5 feet high, plus the 6 for the wall. I wish I'd have won that one more course, you know. But that dude over there, when we had the wooden house up, the road my wife was staying in, the freaking ground was always saturated, always. So the dude over there, he didn't build it that high up off the grass. So that might be a problem for him. Trying to find out the people that own the land, you know, around me. They wanted to sell it, you know, for a good price. I got the 545 here. I get that for it. It's about 308,000 Philippine peso, something like that. 6K it should have been. You got a calculator there?
Okay, what?
306,000 peso divided by the land I bought. Trying to figure out what I paid per square meter.
It's about $5,600.
Well, when I bought it, the peso rate was like 40 something, low 40s, 43, something like that. Yeah, it was
never
down.
that low.
Yeah, it was when I first started coming here. When I first started coming here in 2012, the peso was 42. And when I went to the 42 to 43, when I went to the money changer, you know, they take a couple of points. So I was getting it for either sometimes 40, sometimes 39, you know.
Yeah, okay. That was back during the Obama years when the dollar was not strong. When I was there in 01, I think the best rate I got was 55.
Yeah, well, it's around 56 something right now. It's still, it went up a little, it went down a little bit, it went down to 50,000 some around here. Now it's 51.
No. I looked at, there's a site called xe.com, X-ray.
Listen, listen, 58. You ain't getting 58 from Remitly or any of that. I'll tell you that. Right?
Nope.
And that's why I say the amount I say, because the other ones, that's how they make their money. The other one, we got today, I just sent the wife, my son sent, she got 51 for $900. US, she got 51 something.
Yeah, they're making a killing off either.
So, well, sure they are, but dude, it ain't killing me. You know what? You know what's more? You know what?
$900. They made 6,000 pesos off you.
Yeah. You know what's more? You know what a bigger pain in the ass is? Going to the fucking bank. You ever go to a bank here on a regular basis? Plan on the whole day.
Hey, I went to that. I told you about my experience at BPI on Montilla Boulevard in Bootle.
Montilla, yeah.
Montilla, BPI. I tried to open an account, give them $500 to deposit, and they treated me like I was a criminal.
They said, "Where's the receipt?"
I'm trying to give them. No, I had $500 in cash, US dollars. Nice, pristine $100 bills.
Yeah.
I'd like to open an account. And they asked my wife. I said, not, of course, I knew I couldn't do it in my name. So I said, in her name. Okay, well, let's see 2 or 3 forms of Filipino ID.
Oh,
Well, my
jeez.
wife didn't have a Philippine driver's license. She was no longer a student, you know. So she had nothing. All she had was her Philippine passport. She's a Philippine citizen. Here's her passport. Oh no, sir, we need more than one form of ID.
Yeah.
I said we've been living in the States for this was 6 years after she came here, right? We went back to
Yeah.
visit. We live in the States. She doesn't have any Philippine ID other than her passport. Oh, sorry, sir.
He-
They gave me a hard time. And I'm trying to give them freaking money,
yeah. You know, when
I told her it's not like I'm asking you for $1 million loan here. I'm trying to give you money to open an account. Anyways, I guess we finally did. She gave me all this shit. Well, we need a letter from your bank in the U.S. saying you're in good standing. I said, what? Well, I didn't tell her what. I told my wife, This was my baptism into how the Philippines works,
yeah,
And I was like, I was getting pissed. My wife's like, take it easy, I said, well, it's simple. A bank in the States, you want to open an account, you go in, you give them $500,
yeah.
give you a piece of paper saying you officially have an account here. We'll send you a
Well,
debit card.
And the thing is, a lot of these places, one bank, I know that Ned, my Philippine Dreams, he went to a BPI up there in Dumaguete, and there was rules to this and that, and they let him open up an account. And he was on a tourist visa.
On a tourist visa. Well,
Yeah, at the
anyways,
time, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had my wife with me, and she's a Philippine citizen, and they're giving me a hard time. Anyways, after we come back, after a few years, I said, hey, check into our account, see how much is still in there.
Gone.
And my wife couldn't access it. It said count, and then we called them. And they said, oh, your account's been closed due to, what is it, lack of activity?
Yeah.
So we didn't have much. We might have had $100, $200 left in it, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, wait, you never made an effort to contact us, saying, hey, we're about to close. What's up?
Rules
They
are
just
rules
took
here.
the damn money.
Rules are rules here. That thing's for sure. You know what burns you. If you're standing in line to get waited on, you could be in there over an hour. When I bought my truck, me and the sales lady had her grandpa driving her car, and they were in there, and she was in there an hour. So if you're standing in line and you don't have the shit you need, then you got to go back and do whatever and get it, and stand there again.
Yeah.
So,
Didn't
like
you
I
get
said,
don't they have a senior citizens line? Like, don't you get to go to the front of the line?
well, I don't know. I don't use the bank. I only used the bank a few times before. But
Yeah,
the thing of it,
I've heard that at places you get to go to the front of the line if you're a senior or something like that.
well, my wife's got the belly from her medications, and the guard asked her if she was pregnant. She said, yeah. When she went to pay the bill, and I went right up to the front. Like, there wasn't no take a number. She goes, yeah, I am.
It's like nowadays at some of the stores here, Walmart, they got special parking place. It says for expectant mothers.
Oh,
Like how the hell do you know? A
well,
woman could
then
be
they
1 month pregnant, and she can say, "Oh,
well,
I'm
then
an
they
expectant mother."
then they covered the dude that still has a snatch with a beard. The bearded woman at the circus. So when I went in there to buy when I went in there to we had a money transfer, one lump sum. My son said, I don't want to go through that again. Hey, it's like they went to his body with a fucking microscope. So I go in there and I sign. And he brought it to me like, I don't know how many times. I'm like, well, what's the problem? The signature, you got to make it look like this. And I changed my lazy signature over the years. I'm like, what does that fucking matter? You got you got my passport, you got my Philippine driver's license, you got
Yeah, I
you
know.
got my I mean
They treat
so
you like
so
a damn scammer, you know?
So I said, yeah. So I said, okay. But they had photo IDs, more than one. My American driver's license, theirs, my passport, and I had extra passport photos. And, oh, man, I'm like, you gotta, I
So
said,
so
she
they
goes,
do
no,
all
you,
that shit. How do people get scammed then? If they do all
yeah,
this like 4 or 5 verifications, how
yeah.
the
She
hell do
said
the scammers get away with it?
they wanted my signature to look like it did on my driver's license.
Uh,
And I didn't, because nowadays I look like I got a Hollywood actor's signature. I'm just like fuck it. I'm not trying to be the lowercase and uppercase and all that bullshit and the smooth, fuck all that. So I'm like, well, how come they keep kicking it back? Because it has to look like this after the sixth time. And why didn't you tell me in the beginning? You know. So I'm standing there, right, and I did it 6 times, and because they all looked a little different. But when I signed it like I did on the ID, then they go, okay. So therefore, you can see why uh, uh, spending $4.99 to get my money right away is not a big deal. If I want to get a shit fee or no fee, I think I got to wait 3 to 4 days. But
that's about
you
the
know,
time you should ask them, okay, let me see your certificate as a handwriting
oh
expert, you know, to
yeah.
determine that my handwriting's correct. Where's your
Hey,
training certificate?
I went to
And
a
is that
bank.
your real signature on that training certificate? Right?
Well, once I get the letters right, when I had this bank when I was a preteen, and I kept it when I had a job, for my first job and all that. When you used to have to go to the bank on Friday night, you stay in a big line. And so I come back to the years after that. I was going to take a test for food service manager through the city of Milwaukee, and so I go in there, and last time I was in there, I think it was eight. No, that one I was in there. Last time I was in there on that one, I was 14, and so I signed a thing, lady, and it was, I think I had it like $100 to close the account. And they kept bringing it back and looking, the teller looking at their boss and, sign this again. And I'm like, what the fuck for? What's the big deal here? She said, well, your signature looks so different. I go, I was fucking 14 when I wrote that. And then I was, 30s, maybe. I can't recall. So, what was it fucking man? Oh, man. That's before you had photo driver's licenses.
Oh man.
It used to be, well, anyway. My bank down there, when the anti-spyware software I had, the Russian company is no longer, they were barred from doing business in the United States, So I never bothered going to the one they recommended. So they just at the end, they just set me up with this fly by night one. And it's not even on anybody's list. It's that normal. It's subpar, you know. So so I had that, and they kept messing around because I didn't like it. I didn't feel comfortable with that one. And I tried
I
getting it every time I fired up my computer, I had to exit out. And now today I got it to wipe it out completely. Since I got a new one.
I told you about the deal. My wife almost didn't get her K-1 visa here because immigration here said the one and only birth certificate I had of hers was typed back in the day on a regular old typewriter with runny ink, right? And it wasn't legible. You know, it was all like smeared.
Yeah.
And the immigration people here are saying, we can't accept this. We can't read it. I said, I'm sorry, that's the only one she has, you know?
Yeah, so?
I'm like, you know, you got to understand, it's a poor country. Not everybody has laser printers and stuff. You know, this was done back in 73 on one of the old typewriters with ink, probably on a hot, humid day, and the ink smeared.
Hey,
And
I got...
yeah, they gave me a hard time. And I finally told them, I said, look, please, this is, there is no other way of verifying her birth, you know? She's out in some little village, you know. She's not in a big city with printers and, well, back then it was dot matrix printers, maybe if they had printers in 73.
You know, I brought my original, and when I was going through the process of bringing her to America, I had to get all this documentation ready, and because it was way back where you just had that piece of paper, like a letter, not a letter, kind of like a letterhead with a background on it. But they had since transitioned into a where you have the seal is stamped and it's raised, so you know that's where you got it from.
Hey, my original was paper signed by a nun.
Well,
she was like a delivering nurse. And she signed my birth certificate.
Well, my auntie, my grandma's last daughter, she died at 62, man. But she was born in a Catholic hospital, and because the doctor wasn't present, the nuns wouldn't whack her on the ass to get her oxygen going. You know, she ended up having mildly retarded, but. You know, my grandma, like, I don't know, she never held no ill will towards.
You know what's ironic is the hospital I was born in, it was a Catholic hospital, and then it converted into a nursing home, and that's the nursing home that my mother just died in September.
Ooh.
The same hospital she gave birth to me is where she died, in a nursing home.
Hey, we got this city called Shorewood. That's kind of like the upper crust. You know, people with cash. You know, only if you're low income or any other color, it's just a you got to transit through it. You know, and they were like that about everything. They had a nursing home there, and somehow they closed it because they didn't want all these fucking crazy people. You know, they didn't want anything but. Even the white crazy ones they didn't want. So the facility, the thing shut down. Either that, I don't know, the city had something to do with it. They shut it down and turned it into some condos. That was their way of doing shit. That's where it was like walking on eggshells when you'd go through it, you know, because we had to go to this mall. And we had to go through two smaller cities that had, you know, like holier than thou kind of mentality there, and you fucking had to do everything correctly, otherwise they'd be on you. People, you know, call up, complain, all this shit. Nobody wanted the bus lane over in front of their house. But anyway, the time I went Gonzo, I think I had sugar withdrawal here from the Coca-Cola, but when I went to the hospital for that, they had that uvula shaved down, a little punching bag in her throat, you know. No more snoring for me. Ooh, the dog's barking up there. Must be something going on. I gotta go check that out. Be right back. As well. The other one back there, he's trying to get it. I think she was in heat for a while, and this other one, he was trying to, little short dog, he was trying to get some, and she's objecting to that.
Did you say your wife takes your boy to church and then school during the weekdays? Is that?
Think what?
I said your wife takes your boy to church and school on weekdays, right?
School, not church. Church on Saturdays.
Oh, okay. But she stays there at the school all day till he's done, or
Yeah. Well, he's only there
is it
from,
half a day?
I don't even know. Yeah, I guess. They start at 7, which, Philippine time, it's not really 7, it's more like 7:30. And they're done at noon.
Wow. And that's their
Yeah.
school. And then you said they have another shift in the afternoon, right?
Yeah, they have I don't know if that's for particular grades, maybe. I think grade 4 to 5, 6 they don't have.
What grade's your son in right now?
I think third.
Third, okay.
They don't have a 6th. So they have it online, but not. I thought, man, that'd be great if I'd have had that shit. Yeah.
Well, it's probably best, he goes to school in the morning. It's cooler, I guess,
Well, yeah, I think next
it's
year
a private school, right?
Yeah, next year I think he's got to go noon to 5 or something like that.
Is it right in the city? So, like, your wife can go?
Yeah, it's right on it's off the corner of Montpelier Boulevard. It's not, I forget the side street because they really don't put signs up unless you.
Montpelier and the main street, there's a big
J.C. Aquino.
Above ground crosswalks, right?
Yeah. It's about 2 blocks away from the intersection of J.C. Aquino and Montpelier. They have a McDonald's kitty corner from Jollibee, and the immigration is right around the corner. It's up above a building on top. They have
and you said Aquino is the main drag?
One of them, yeah. J.C. Aquino.
Across that bridge?
Yeah.
So that's Aquino. Okay, so I remember walking Aquino and then Boulevard. Yeah. We hung walking towards that bridge, towards the river.
Yeah.
Montpelier hung a left, and BPI was just down there on the right. The bank.
Oh yeah. It's if we want to walk to McDonald's, that's about a 3-4 block walk. We would walk right past BPI. If you're looking west, BPI is on the left side of the street, right there.
I think that's the BPI we tried to open an account at, or we did eventually, but it was like pulling freaking teeth.
We used, I think, on my first trip here, because I learned from getting traveler's checks, and unless you have a bank there, they won't deal with them. You got to go to a money changer and get a couple points less. So that was like, I went down. They have more than one in Makati. They have more than one money changer, and I had like a 50. I was cashing a 50, and they offered me 35, and I think that upstairs I could have got 39, I think, or 40, and they were going crazy down there. I'm like, it's $50 fucking dollars. It ain't no big deal to me. But you'd have thought it was Christmas or something, or whatever they celebrate. I'm like, my wife said at the time, she goes, well, that was we could have got more up there. I was like, so what, man? It's a 50.
I think when we were there, when I originally went to be with my wife to meet her, she was in Metro Manila. So we stayed in Las Piñas at her cousin, and we stayed like 2 nights there. And well, no, it wasn't. We had the kids with us, so it wasn't when I went to meet her. It was like 18 years ago. Our oldest two kids were uh, little, but we
Took the
stayed
kid.
with her cousin in Metro Manila, and the maid, she cooked like breakfast for us, when we woke up, and she washed our clothes and folded them for us. So on the third morning, we stayed like 2 nights, 3 days. So on the morning of the third day, we were going to leave to go down to Butuan, I guess, and I gave the maid like 1,500 pesos. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, she cooked for us and did our clothes the last 2 days. That's what, $30." Well, that was less than $30 then. My wife
Yeah.
said, "That's her whole month's salary." I said, "What?"
Well, there
She
you
said,
go.
"Yeah, 1,500," and she was happy to get it, But my
My
wife
wife
was like,
told.
"No." She always tells me I tip too much, when I was in
Yeah.
the Philippines. She's
Yeah.
like, "That's too much." Like,
Yeah.
no,
No, mine did that when I got a. Well, they've been steadily jacking up the haircut prices, especially this one, because this one cool place was charging 80, and you could go to this regular one for 50. Now that one's up to 70 or 80 itself. But I said to the wife, well, we'll give him. Why don't you give him 50? Well, that's too much. I give him 20. Oh, he appreciates it. I'm like, okay.
yeah, that's when I was there. I had this guy. He came to the house, cut my hair at the house, brought his clippers, and it was like he wanted 50 pesos. I was like,
Yeah.
no. I gave him like 200.
Oh,
My wife said,
jeez.
"That's too much." I said, "That's $4." I said, "You can't get a haircut in the States for $4."
You know why? Because they'll always expect that then.
Well, yeah, but
Even
this was a one-time deal. I was just there visiting, for a week.
yeah, even if I say to them, look, I can't do this. This is like a one-time deal, and they'll say, oh yeah, okay, but then I say, don't say that then nobody,
All
and
right.
then then like half a week later, so all of a
All
sudden
their
it's
friends know that you tip good.
yeah, it's a topic of conversation. I'm like I thought I said, you know what? Now I can't do that. Yeah, I said, besides, you're cutting your own throat if you keep telling everybody about it.
I don't know,
Then,
but if I was in that situation, I've never been that desperate. I mean, I've been down on my luck, but I've
oh
never
yeah,
been that desperate to where 20 or 50 pesos would make a difference, So
yeah. Well, a lot of things too is they don't deal. If you go somewhere with more than 100, then that's poison. They don't want
yeah,
it.
they don't. There's no change. They don't have change.
Hey, you stick 1,000. I'd be like the first customer today at Wilcon. Was one of the
Yeah, and
hardware.
you hand them 1,000, and they just
Yeah, the
blank
lady goes,
stare. They know what it is.
you got anything smaller? I said, no, I don't. I really don't. Otherwise, I would. Because I said, well, they need to give you a bigger cash drawer there. And they moved the registers from in front to way halfway back to the other end. I said, why'd you go to? I said, you can't. What did people try stealing here? She goes, yeah. I go, well, that's a pretty long way from the front door. So, thing is, when I go out there, when I go out to the Wilcon or City Hardware, I'll go there after I drop the kids off,
So is that
and
why
then
there's guards at all the front doors, not just to check people come in, but to catch the
yeah,
thief trying to go out?
yeah,
I've
you
never
got
seen someone like caught in the act trying to steal from a
no.
store.
That's how I said. I'm thinking to myself in my mind, in the back of my mind, I'm going, I wouldn't even have tried that when I was 14. That's too freaking far. But when you come in, they check off whatever you got, your receipt or whatever, and then when you leave, you show them your receipt, like Walmart.
Oh, okay. All right.
But they don't bust your balls like Walmart. I used to go out of my way to show them the thing because I said, they had one by us. It was open 24 hours a day,
And every time we went in there, and we spent quite a bit of money there, you know. And I go over to the movie bin, you know, seeing what I can get for $5 or whatever. And dude, oh, this one worker would always be back there watching me go through the movies. So I'm thinking, why don't you just pick one for me here? Because you know you're looking at me like I'm stealing this shit, and you're more than welcome to look inside my fucking bags and break this shit down. You know, I didn't deserve to be looked at like that. If you're that fucking paranoid, maybe you ought to be in a different business, you know.
Yeah, why don't they catch the real thieves? You know,
Well, yeah.
the one-
Well, every
the one
I would go.
the honest people are going to be the ones that show you the receipt. The real thieves are the ones back there bringing
Hey,
their Dolce and Gabbana big old handbag and stuffing stuff in it, and claiming if they walk out, it's their purse, right? And they're like,
well,
you can't look at my purse.
I'd always see the same lady, and sometimes she wouldn't even. She goes, "Oh, that's okay." You know. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, I accidentally
One old
when I
lady,
bought-
I felt bad, but I was not in a good mood this day for some reason. But I had bought like 2 things at Walmart, right? And the self checkout was about 15 feet from where she was standing by the exit door, right? She saw me there checking like 3 items, and I just walked out. She said, "Receipt, sir." And I just kind of snidely said, "Man, this is my property now. I just purchased it." And she said, "Well, I'm just doing my job, you know." She said, "You have a nice day." But I didn't let her check me, you know.
hey, them
That is
I went to the mall. When I
I
went
heard
to
a
the,
lawyer talk about that. Legally, they cannot check you.
I want to make
Walmart,
them.
now they can in Costco because that's a club, all right, and they have rules, and that might be part of their rules. But a Walmart being just a public store for anybody, you know, it's not a club. Once you've paid for your merchandise, that is your property. So
Yeah.
that's an unlawful search and seizure when you're going out the door and they want to go through your bags again, right?
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to it becomes an epidemic when regular workers that have no business putting their hands on a shoplifter, period. They don't get paid enough for that. Are gonna get killed or fucked up because I was in one by my house out in Greenfield where I lived. And I'm always in there too. And one day I go, I went there to shop for some shorts, and I decided, fuck it, I'm just gonna get my ink, my copier ink, and then leave. But I had taken a shopping cart, and when I went up to as I was going in electronics, I go, fuck it, I'll just get the ink. Lady says, well, you get the whole shopping cart just for that? Well, that's strange. I thought, what the fuck do you care? You know, you sold me a computer once. You sold me a computer once because you tried selling me some extended warranty, and you knew. When I heard the lady say to the guy, "Well, I've been having a lot of problem with those." Well, why are you selling them then?
Yeah.
So I go into the last time I went in there, and I always fuck with them because when I walk in there, I go real quick. I don't want to take all day. I want to get my shit and go. So I'm like a racetrack. Zip to this department, zip to that one, and I'm gone. So I go in there and I got a card. I had a couple of things, and I go back by electronics. I forget what it got. It's some ink again. There's nobody there. So I'm like, man, this is pretty surprised, you know. So I know they're looking on the camera. That's why I did it. So I go. They look for people to move, you know, like I was doing. And I went to the T-shirt. I went to the underwear section. Got my shit, and I'm going. And I see this must be a mid-level or low-level management guy. He's standing there looking. You know, as I'm zipping my way through, I come back near the aisle of electronics, and there's 4 people standing there, like they're gonna fucking tackle me. I take a hard right and I go down, and I see this guy standing there. He's looking, you know, he's a shorter guy, and he's looking like he's waiting for the signal, you know, to come fucking fuck with me, you know. And I didn't say nothing. I should have. I after the thought, afterwards, I thought, man, I should have fucked. I said, hey, you get your signal yet? You get your signal? You know, is there anything in here? You know, just fuck with them because they're so freaking paranoid. But an old man came out the store when I was coming in. He had a hand truck. It was a bigger item. And this guy was coming in. He goes, sir, did you pay for that? Fucking, of course I did. You know, you're a worker there. You're not. You don't have the authority or the power to be putting hands on people because you're going to put the hands on
Yeah,
the
or
wrong.
searching them. You don't have the power to search somebody. You know,
You go back. You can go
even
back.
the cops. They've got to have reasonable suspicion. You know.
Well, that's why they take you. And if you watch on YouTube too, you'll see some. They'll take you into this room where they got the monitors, and they'll see it. You know, then they'll go through what the person's got and what they got on and what they got in the card or whatever. You know, and then they'll see it.
If they're guilty, yeah. But
Yeah.
you know, I've always my response to them if they're going to ever say, sir, can we check your pockets? I'm going to say, look, okay, I'll make you a deal. You check my pockets under one thing. If you find that I'm stealing something, you know,
Yeah.
then you can arrest me. If you are wrong, I'm going to sue the shit out of you. Okay. So let me turn my phone on and get this on video. All right. But first of all, you don't have the authority to search anybody. Even the police have to have a search warrant, right? Normally.
Well, they watch the video on the shoplifters, and when they see that, you know, so they the new fangled thing they call of detaining you, you know, pre-arrest.
But yeah,
So
but
they
you and
gotta-
I, when we go in Walmart to buy something, we don't typically just put it in our pocket, right? We have a cart or a basket
Man.
that we put it in. We don't try to conceal it.
No,
There's no reason for us to go look at their cameras of taking
One time-
pictures of us because we haven't done anything.
One time I had my stuff and I said, I already scanned it. And I go, wait a minute. You know, I got to do this in either way. I'll keep the hangers, fuck it, you know, because I want the shit laid out, or I want it bunched up in the thing. And one lady saw me. She goes, "Oh, that guy." She says, "Nah, he already paid for that. He's just redoing it." You know, I walked in there with the cart. I walked in there to get a cart. I was going in there for some grass seed, some mulch and shit, and I bolted it back right real quick because I want to get it and get the fuck out. And I go back, there's nobody there. And I went to a section right where my bag of fertilizer I wanted. And then I see this young guy come running out the door into the garden section. You know, and he sees me. I'm the only one out there. I don't even have nothing in my card yet. So that's why I did it. I did it purposely. Because I wanted to, you know, because fucking dude, you're welcome. You can follow me. You can pick this shit out. You can look at this fucking itemized list. You can go through the whole fucking thing if it makes you feel better. But every time I'd go to one of them, they'd always, you know, the same way. Why don't you just come over and see?
Yeah.
You know, why don't you go view your video?
And don't just do it to me because I'm an old white dude. Do it to everybody that comes through here. Okay? Don't just select me, right? Because it's okay to select me, but it's not maybe okay to select somebody else.
I guess it's wrong if you go in there and you stop with urgency, like you know, I only want to be in here 20 minutes. I know what I want, so I go right through what I want and I get it.
Yeah. The only time I linger in a store is because I got my wife with me. If I'm
You know,
going shopping, I'm like you. I go there, I know what I want, and it's boom, 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 I'm out.
hey,
Unless I've got to wait an hour or kill an hour, you know, waiting on someone in my family, and yeah, okay, so I can go look around the store.
Now I
I
know.
got time to kill.
Well, now I know why my dad sat in the car while my mother was food shopping.
Right, right. We know why they didn't ever go shopping with the women, you know?
Yeah, he'd wait outside, man. You know, we'd be there with mom. Hey, why don't you get this and have all that shit almost gone in 3 days? You know, they get real creative down the road with.
My wife works at a grocery store, right? And she got the other day. I usually, if I go to the gym, because it's right across the parking lot, so I go in and see her at lunchtime. And why I was taking her to work last week because my son was home from college. But when I went to pick her up, she has this big old party tray. It's like, chocolate covered nuts and chocolate covered raisins and, all a big old plastic party tray that they made for New Year's. Well, they're left over, right? They didn't sell them. So my wife finds these sales, she works there. So I'm checking out and it rings up for like $3.15, right? And the cashier says, she says, wow, where'd you find this? I said, I don't know. My wife works here. It was normally $15 party tray.
Yeah.
And now that the holiday was over, they're only charging $3 for it. So that shows you how much money they make off of it. They're still making money at $3,
Oh, it's like 1,000% markup, man.
Oh, easily. So
now,
the lady cashing out, she said, hey, wife, if there's any more.
Now they got a new phrase or new words to use. They say they closed the Walmart and inner city store, inner city, but so they closed it because they were getting thieved so bad.
Right.
And they, instead of saying we're closing because there's too many shoplifters, they just say this store was underperforming.
Right, underperforming store, right.
So they go, well, where are we gonna go? So I can tell you, when I was a kid, there was this place called Southgate Mall. They put a Walmart there, and they had another one way down the road, in about 8 miles away. It was in a city called Franklin, where you have a very good income living there. Now you're not filthy rich, but you make enough.
Upper crust.
Nah, yeah, not upper, but upper enough,
Right.
So
upper middle class. Yeah.
So when they closed one, where do you think? And this one was a 24-hour one. And then they reduced it. Where do you think all them freaking meth heads went to go up? They went there. They'd always get on my bus. After a while, at first they go, I don't give a shit. And then when I drop them off, they go, oh, there he is in his car. They're going to buy some fucking rock or meth or something. And they go running across the street. Okay, motherfucker, you didn't want to pay me nothing. But now you got to go pay this, guy with limousine blacked out windows, which is illegal anyway. But from then on, I was sitting there waiting for one to relieve on a bus. And the lady went walking by me because the first couple of times I saw him, I let him do the white chick and black guy, young. And I was sitting there waiting for my bus, and she's walking. And she said, and I saw her way down the road. And she says, yeah, I just got off of this other Crossroad bus, and, she made up some bullshit to me. I said, oh, yeah? I go, I was fucking standing there. You didn't get off no bus. You were walking. Well, yeah, all of a sudden then they revised her story. After a while, one time I let this guy on, he didn't have no leg or legs. I forget which one, but he had a helper or a girlfriend or whatever. And, that time of the night, that's when I was working nights. If I go, look, man, I'll let you on here, but as long as she straps you down and all that shit, puts the hooks on your chair there, I'll, no big deal.
I don't want you rolling down the aisle or nothing.
One guy said, well, you don't got to be shitty about it. I go, dude, fuck you. You get on here and you go, well, I just got out of jail. I said, what is that, a badge of honor? One guy got pissed at me. He got on my bus and this fucker. And I said, I let him on he didn't even have it all either. And I said, okay. So he was about a good buck short. And he had an M card. The card they changed it now and called it something else. But It's like a credit card, like an M card, they call it. And I get to this one street, and he's about to get off. He goes, "Oh, I need a transfer." I said, "I ain't get one." I said, "I give you a break when you got on." "Yeah, I know but fucking nothing, dude. You told me this when you got on." "Well, I don't need one. You told me you didn't need one. Well, aren't you guys supposed to care?" What the fuck, man? I ain't no fucking social worker. You know? You tell me you tell me you just got out of prison. Well, there's a good fucking character there, you know. Yeah, I don't give a fuck if you just get, because when they went to jail, when they went to the county jail, the county used to give them bus tickets. You know, we used to take these square tickets and give them a transfer. Well, they don't do that. They stopped doing that. And I'm like, come on, man. You know, just fuck it. That's why when people would get on, I wouldn't even hardly look at them. They'd start their story, and I go, yeah, okay. You know, I didn't even want to. I mean, you know, we're gonna sit there. You're gonna ask me stupid questions, and I gotta pretend that I'm as dumb as fucking you are. So, you know, what does that mean? Not enough? Give me a fucking break, man. You ain't
Hang
that
on,
fucking-
I'm gonna switch headsets. Okay, I want to see if this works.
Hey, and ain't that illiterate, man? Christian, late at night there for you, huh? What time it is over there in Thailand? It's 10:30 here. Oh, dog yakking back there, man. I think that either that guy's out there in this little shanty or dogs are coming back there trying to get some coochie. I think she's over with that because he used to come around here like crazy. I don't know which one got her, but one of them did. Bargo freaking night. At least you got a little art. That's what you wanted to do here, though. Bar. But that guy next door, if that's his idea of, you know, that lot cost him more than that place he put up. It ain't even it looked like a lean-to shed, you know. So like a good Samaritan, I had to look over there. I said, you know, they're all marked. I said, you know, this one on the other side of the wall here, this is a road. Come in. And the people that own the lots are the ones that are supposed to maintain it. Well, I don't use it because I bought a different lot to enter mine. Yeah. Oh. I'm gonna put up some what do you call it? What do you call it? Lights. You got one in the corner there hanging there, and they put the solar panel up on top of the roof. They're pretty good because some of these aren't in the sun all day, and they work every time. Oh, 9:30, you're an hour back from me. You still in Thailand or you back in Norway? No, you're in Thailand. You're an I think what's his name went live the other day from Pharaoh's Bar. Mike Bird. Drinking free brews, I guess. See, this is where you need a dog in the backyard. That's gonna tear somebody's ass up if they get in there. He's coach for the Washington Commanders, they're called now. Lives in Oahu, Hawaii. Jeez. Yeah, anything but cold weather. I mean, I wake up every day. My youngest sister lives in Florida now, Fort Myers area. But every day I wake up, even if it's rain, it's right where I used to have to wait until 2 o'clock in the afternoon to get the high of the day. Man, there must
Yeah,
be
Christian,
some.
when's your return to
You
your
guys-
home?
You guys talk, man. I gotta check out the building.
Oh, okay. So you still have some time there. Enjoying yourself? Okay, Christian, currently right here where I'm at this morning is minus 13. So it's a little chilly here. But it's good to be retired when it's minus 13 out.
Well, some dog came up here thinking he was gonna get some action.
Hey, yesterday I was watching, there wasn't much on TV. They were showing the funeral for President Carter at the Washington Cathedral. And, they're standing, when you're in the military, you ever have to do parades and you got to stand there and hold the flag or something. Well, it was pretty chilly in DC yesterday, and the wind was just whipping. I mean, the flags were like out stiff, and this one poor dude, the one dude had to hold the United States flag, right? And the other dude had to hold the presidential flag. And these big ass, they're probably like 3x4 flags, they're huge. And this one sailor was holding the presidential flag, and they had to stand out there. It must have been 45 minutes, freezing cold, right outside the chapel. The wind's howling, and this guy, he lost his cover somewhere. It blew off. So he was out there with nothing on his head, you know.
Uh-oh.
Wind is just whipping. It's freezing. He's in his Navy dress, whatever it was. I think it was Navy.
That's when that's
But
the worst.
I felt bad. I said, man, I've been there. That poor dude.
That's what that's
The
ass
rest of
kicking.
the day probably thaw out.
And that's the ass kicking you can never get back. You can't do nothing about that one. What
Nobody,
is it?
I don't know where his hat blew off, his cover, but nobody like picked it up for him and went over and put it on his head. You know, those little white Navy caps, they're not going to
Yeah,
keep you
yo,
warm
that
anyways.
Cracker Jack,
But
the Cracker Jack
yeah,
cap.
yeah, the Popeye hat, you know, yeah. And
That,
that
that's
ain't
why I
going to
didn't
keep
go.
you warm anyway.
That's why I didn't go in the Navy. I didn't want to wear that fucking Cracker Jack looking
Yeah.
shit.
But I felt for those dudes because I've been there. It's you're either out there and it's freaking 95 degrees and humid, or it's freezing and the wind's blowing. You know,
Well, look at the Dakotas there. I mean, every summer, every winter, it's freaking so bad. But in the summer, it's so hot, just like it used to be over in Wisconsin.
right? Mm-hmm.
You know, you're in the center right there. You're gonna get some hot weather all summer. That shit, you know, just goes all the way up.
There's
But
times
where
there's like 60-degree difference, you know, between the high and the low. You know.
well, it's
And I
75.
always heard that about Arizona too. You know, like Arizona, New Mexico, we're thinking, man, it's freaking hot. Why do these guys have a jacket? You know,
Flagstaff.
because it gets freaking cold at night. I guess 50 seems real cold when it's 120. You know, during the daytime.
When I was in basic at Fort Bliss, we had a
What
fire
months were you
ring.
there?
I was there from April to July, I think.
Oh, that's freaking hot.
Yeah, it is, but it rained once and the humidity went up a little bit. Otherwise, it was 2 to 5%. So it's dry heat. But on at McGregor firing range was in New Mexico, and we went out there to do some training. And at night in the desert, it's freaking cold, man.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it's cold in the desert at night. As soon as that sun comes up, though, a lot different. But we snuck over to where the girls are. We were watching them take a shower. You know, it's kind of the glass was kind of not blurry. I don't know what the hell they did, but you could still get enough. Still get an eyeful, you know. I mean, that's where, oh my God, opportunities. And I didn't take them because I just got married. Yeah, I can't do that. I had a conscience, believe it or not.
Yeah, I think my boot camp was San Antonio, Texas, and when did I go? April through May or something like that. It was only, I forget how many weeks ours was, but 6 or 8 weeks.
Your barracks were like a hotel room, huh? Motel or whatever.
Oh, not in boot camp. It was open bay barracks, you know, just like everywhere else. But
your AIT, I don't know what you call it in your place.
but that was my first real exposure to dry heat, because I'm coming from Pennsylvania. I had lived in Florida for 10 months, but that's humid heat, right? But I went to Texas, and there were times, this was only April or May, we had days, if it got above 95, they would put out the red flag so you didn't have to do PT, or you did PT under the overhang. You ran in place, okay, for like, I don't know how many minutes, right?
Lucky.
So if it was over 95, you had a red flag and you did your PT under the overhang. And that was in May, and it got that hot, But
yeah, he told us.
I kept when we were marching around, I'd see vehicles driving on the base. Man, I saw so many beautiful old cars and pickups. I'm like, damn, they never stay that nice up north, with all the rust.
Yeah, in Arizona, they got Flagstaff is in the north. It gets snowed up there, but at night it's freaking cold. There's nothing to keep the no concrete, you know.
Yeah.
We when we go out running, we ran when it was over 100 degrees. It was 116 sometimes. And the blast, how they punish you, man. They go, yeah, you guys fucking around. They make you do the push-up position on a black asphalt road. Oh man, freaking burn, you know. I mean,
Yeah, burn the shit out of your hands. Yeah.
everybody had to do it. You had two guys getting a fight. One the tall black dude was named Babs, last name. The other guy, I forget it. Yeah, he was a shorter guy. And they let him fight, man. These fuckers bulbs passed out. It was so hot. They couldn't swing no more. But I got a break because they had 22. I guess they had, if I remember it right, they had 22 ranges. 22. And you know, it's one of these deals where you regret them picking you out to do any detail.
Yeah.
Fuck you. It's gonna be some stupid shit. They sent us all the way up to the last one. We did a bazooka. That's what we call them then. I don't know. Laws Rocket called. And we went out there to police the place, you know, to pick up the shit, change or garbage. We waited a couple hours for them dudes to show up. And back then, you know, I was 18. I was as dark as a freaking Indian, man, American Indian. Because when I took my shirts off and shorts, I never realized how white I was, you know. But all learning experience. Some of it was good. Yeah, after a while, when you realized you were there for like, well, part of physical, but also your mental toughness when it came to how you dealt with that stuff, you know. You're gonna be there till what? February 7th, you're going home? Where's today? Today's only the 10th here. Almost a month.
Yeah.
How many days you allowed, Krishna? How many days you allowed to be out of the country if you're got disability with the disability program to the government?
Must be what, 3 months or something? Is that how long you'll be gone total? 3 or 4 months?
He left in December though, did he? Did you go over to Angeles yet? Over there by,
Well, he said 6 months. He just responded.
Oh wow, that's pretty good. Yeah, you go to Norway to 6 months before winter. The pre and the post.
Yes.
Post
Have
it.
you already been up to the Angel? Did you end up going to Angeles City? Did you see Ronald or anybody?
Oh, here it comes.
Yeah, much
There he
better
is.
answer here. I
Yeah.
have in Philippines yet. I'm planning that now because someone wants me to play at the Pattaya Seaman Church on the 25th. So I
On the
need to
20 what?
25th.
25th. What, play your harmonica?
Yeah,
Nice.
but I'm not sure. It's 15 songs I never heard before, so I have 12 days to practice.
Oh, 15 songs. Wow.
Well, after people be too fucked up to know it anyway, right?
You can't drink in church.
Sure you can.
It's
You
not
you
Tony's
can,
kind
but
of
they
church.
don't serve alcohol.
It's not Tony's kind
Oh,
of church.
come on. The last priest at church I used to go to and had my first communion in Ohio, this guy was alcoholic. he come out there talking to my brother-in-law. Somebody went in there and told him there was some Asian looking woman or some shit. She wasn't white, not like the rest of the crowd. And he went and asked my brother-in-law. Well, he was my brother-in-law. I went to school with him when I was living there. And he asked him if she was Muslim, this and that. I go, what the fucking guy asked me, you know? What if she was? What? And I tell you, and this is the only time it's ever happened to me. And I learned that women actually know, they listen and they know more than you fucking think they do. But when me and my wife walked to meet my cousin, well, he's not a blood cousin, but you know, we're all the same age. My auntie's daughter's children, we were all around the same age. And as soon as we walked in, it was like we got announced. Every single person in there was looking at us, like they were waiting on us. That's how quick. When they know you ain't a local, you know, one of the good old boys. And then my wife was sitting at the table with my cousin's. He's a cop. Now he teaches the academy, I guess. With another guy, another cop teacher. They're having my wife laugh. I forget what. Oh, saying American terms, you know, like, oh, you son of a bitch or something. And I thought, well, I said, you know what? They're making fun of you, man. Don't do that shit. No, they're not. I go, that ain't fucking her. You know, my brother-in-law always try to sugarcoat it for me. If we lived there, they would be calling our kid all kinds of shit. You know, that section of Ohio is just like that. A couple of towns over, they drove like black dentists out of the city. They fucking harassed them so bad. So I know, I can read in between the lines on all that shit. You know, Todd, he knows, you know, but he's always got the positive excuse to say, or, you know, I'm like, come on, man. You know, when I was a kid, boy, if you weren't white there, man, you got a ear full of shit.
Yeah, so the max is 6 months, but if you go to Thailand for 6 months every year, Thailand start to want you to have a retirement visa, you know, instead of tourist visa.
Yeah, they changed their programs over there, I guess, to get rid of. They had some really sketchy and fucking freakish assholes over there. I saw a documentary once, and it was a guy from England, a guy from UK. He was a teacher, and the camera followed him around all over. They'd show the guys, the lady boys. Some of these looked like you wouldn't even know. And of course, when you're drunk, he was checking an Adam's apple out, you know. But this dude was so freaking obnoxious. The Thai, you know, even in the bar, the Thai guys were like, they were dealing with them with a lot of patience, man, because this guy was, and then they said he was a teacher for a living, a grade school teacher. This guy was an asshole, big time asshole. Nobody wanted to be around.
Christian, if you see other foreigners, what is there a majority of any certain country that you see there?
UK?
Like, is there a lot of US, a lot of Russian?
Mostly Russians, American, and English
Brits?
people.
Yeah. Brits and Aussies.
Australians too?
Yeah.
Australians?
Yeah, some Aussies, yeah.
The one guy that died, he got cancer or something. I forget his name. I thought the guy was from Australia, but apparently he was from England. Jovial guy. I don't know. You probably know who it was. Something Kevin maybe. But that Rob guy, 20 Seconds in Thailand, Rob. This dude ate fest. You know, every day was a festive day for him. And then they showed videos as he started wasting away, you know. It was pretty sad to see. But that Rob guy, you know, when you're a new kid in town, people pay a lot of attention to you. When it becomes old hat after you've been there a while, and you don't get the, you know, the attention you used to. This dude said he was coming back to America, but apparently he stayed there. And I'm like, you know, the guy's got to be in his late 30s, early 40s, if I'm guessing right. And you go back to America and work for another year and get some more cat because he's living off of his YouTube.
Tony, did you ever watch that guy in Laos? The Aussie guy? It's called
Yeah.
Now in Laos.
Yeah, I used to. I think I canceled that one.
I watch him every once in a while, but
I
I didn't
used
know
to.
that. He said, he came out and he said, you guys, he said, Laos is not like a tourist industry to come and find women and be with.
You're
He said,
landlocked.
if you, yeah, but you don't, she's not your wife. You do not spend the night with a woman in Laos, okay? Because it is highly, highly frowned upon and illegal. And Laos does not play, is what he said.
Well, what's shitty of the American government is they had a lot of unexploded ordnance over there, and you know people get just you know lose an arm, a leg, get killed.
They claim that more tonnage dropped in Laos than
Yeah.
anywhere else
Well,
on the planet.
So
Here's-
you have to be married then.
I guess so. If
I don't
you
know
do
about
not, you do not mess with a Lao woman. You do not like take them home just for the night or whatever, or
this
you know, a
This-
live-in relationship without being married. From what I heard,
this guy was talking to a local there, an older guy, and he said, "Are you American?" He said, "No, I'm Australian." Good, because I don't like American guys because they used to drop bombs 24/7 over there. I said, you know, I said, tell that old man that if his country wouldn't allow the VC in there, that shit wouldn't have happened. You
well,
know?
didn't he realize that the Aussie served right along with us?
Yeah. Well, you know what though, man, you when you get, obviously you didn't change him. Maybe he just wanted to say something, but you know, if you change as you get older, it's like, you know, all those things that you would hear about different people, you know, and then you grow, you know, you experience different people for yourself, and then you see it isn't like what you thought, what you've been hearing, you know,
Yeah.
not totally like, but he spent, I think he spent 6 months up there and 6 down in Aussie with his, I don't know what kind of job, I forget, but he had some good videos, I thought.
Which one?
I think
Lao.
that's a place I wanted to travel to anyway, so they can
Yeah.
have their women.
Maybe Cambodia. Well, you know what?
There's not much English spoken there.
They
I
showed
guess
a guy-
Cambodia same way.
They showed a guy, I forget his channel. He was like a seasonal guy, went down to Da Nang, which was South Vietnam. Well, that's called whatever. But apartments were great rent, you know. But the Da Nang it's a beach resort, you know. And everything that they fought against, they're as capitalistic as anybody else in the world, because their country was extremely suffering. That still does, but nothing nowhere near like it did. They have all kinds of.
There's
They
no
have-
true. There's no true communism. It's all. I mean, they call it that, but
Well,
like everywhere in the world, the haves at the top have all the wealth, and the ones down below don't. Okay,
they
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 can
dress-
call whatever they want, what system they want. But there's the big club, and then there's all the other ones who aren't in the big club. Okay, worldwide.
they increased their money quite a bit, you know. And this guy was I forget who it was. I just typed in driving in Saigon, you know, Ho Chi Minh City. So they showed the thing, and all these scooters just polluting the shit, just blowing blue smoke. But the guy was on a rickshaw, you know. He's pretty cool too. He was an older guy. I mean, you know, that country had war for what, fucking 60 or 70 years. You know,
Yeah.
some people, you know, lived their whole life in a war. You know,
But
but I
all
mean,
those people, it's like my brother. He did 2 tours of Vietnam, but he's 79. They're all, you know, very old, if not already deceased. You know, the ones who were
Yeah.
there and fought.
Hey.
So
They had these coffee shops that were like reminded me of the '60s. You go in this one place and it's like a hollowed out cave, you know, where you got these different levels. You can hang out with your friends and do whatever. I wanted my cousin Danny's about 74, I think. He was over there. He was over there twice. He got drafted and went over there, and he got out. He did a tour and got out. 2 years later, he re-enlisted and went back there. I said, "What'd you go back there for?" He said, "So I could kill more of them fuckers." He didn't. He was sore about that. I think one of his friends. I'm like, Jesus, man, you went through hell, and he volunteered to go back.
my brother did that. He did 2 tours, came home, and then went back under the same
Well,
enlistment, though.
Dude, he was infantry, my cousin, you know, so that you gotta have some kind. All those movies you see and you go, oh, can that guy go over there and come back and he'd be a murderer? I saw a movie like that, it was pretty good. But all of a sudden you go from, you know, you got your mind wired, you know, you're just on go-go juice constantly, and then you come back, you know.
My brother did some special ops. They were called SEALs back then.
Yeah.
They're called BUDS, something underwater destruction demo or something, right?
Buds? That's the
Bud,
name of their
yeah.
classes. That's the name of their classes. Yeah.
Yeah, something underwater destruction or demolition or something. But anyways, yeah, he was like special ops. He wasn't on board a ship. He was a Navy guy, but he was special ops with. He had an Australian guy. In fact, he escorted the body back to Australia because an Aussie guy in his team was killed.
Yeah.
So he escorted the body to Australia. That's the only
My
time
cousin-
he said he got to go to Australia.
My friends, one of my childhood friends, his brother, I knew him real well. Gus, he was a pilot. He was a Navy pilot. Yeah, I think so. And he was supposed to be flying low, you know, not that far up from the water, some covert shit. You know, he never did talk about it because he wasn't allowed. But all of a sudden, he wakes up in a hospital. Man, he hit the water, and he was the only one that lived. He went out the window and he woke up. He was floating in the water. You know, everybody else in the helicopter died, and it was probably in that Hormuz Straits or whatever over there.
Yeah.
I forget where he did that shit. But he was on. He ballooned up like you wouldn't fucking believe. He got huge, man. I mean, his poor heart. He kind of committed suicide. He stopped taking his high blood pressure medicine for 2 weeks, and then his other brother found him, and his eyes open.
Yeah.
And that shit. So
I remember when I was flying, I'd go flying through Houston. I was going south of the border to do a mission, and my brother met me at Houston Airport.
Yeah.
And he said the best advice I can give you is keep your head down. You know? So
Yeah.
he knew what was going on, and then
I had this dude.
I want to see you back, and I said, yeah, I want to see me back too.
One of my this guy from the neighborhood I lived in, Juan, I forget his last name, but his buddy came over because I wanted to sell my furniture, you know, at the place in Wisconsin. So he's talking, man. He was in Vietnam. He goes, man, I ain't gonna lie. He goes, most of them guys got killed by their own guy. He goes, they just jump up and start shooting, you know, and whatever was in front of them got hit.
Yeah, no fire discipline.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like because I think leadership might have sucked too, but
I'm seeing that when I watch some videos from like the Ukraine-Russia conflict. I'm seeing some combat video, and I'm like, they're doing the same thing. I'm like, Those are your own dudes jumping up in front of you. You don't fucking lay down a line of fire when you got your own men in front of you, you know?
Well, he was
I mean,
at
what the
night.
fuck? I know you're in a stressful situation, but you don't shoot
We
your own teammates, man. They're right
we had,
fucking in front of you.
we had a neighborhood guy go when I was a kid. He came back different. But God, man, that was a fucked up situation. But Russia's already got way more than 58. U.S. had 58,000 killed, and I don't know how many missing. But I just wanted to go there. You know, I seen a video of somebody went to Hanoi, you know, and they got all these museums or whatever that with these they said captured vehicles, but actually they weren't captured. They were left behind, you know, left there.
Right.
So you know, they got a show a tank, a plane, or whatever. You know, tunnel rat. I had a neighbor worked for the post office. He was a tunnel rat because he was a short, thin guy, you know, and he was. You know, I think what keeps him going because your adrenaline when you're younger, it's so high, you know. But I'm just glad I was. Well, we were like 4 years. The others they kept going for another 4 years. We might have got drafted. But I was the only son though, so who knows?
Well, my brother he graduated in 72 high school, and I think he had a number, and he told my dad, he said, yeah, I'm going to go to Canada. And my dad said, yeah, you can go to Canada. You just tell me what kind of wooden box you want to go to Canada, and I'll put you in it. So, I mean, my dad was Battle of the Balls of World War II vet. You know, he wasn't.
Battle of the Bulge, man.
Yeah,
Oh.
he was. Yeah, he was. You know that the movies like Saving Private Ryan and shit. Yeah, he was airborne. He was 101st airborne in the Battle of the Balls, all the way from landing in France to the liberation of Berlin. You know,
damn, that's a long. That's
in the what was the Hurtgen Forest? I forget the name of the forest.
Oh, Ardennes.
Yeah, the Ardennes. He was
Yeah.
when he had Alzheimer's. That's the only time I ever heard some stuff about it, you know, because he never talked about it. But when he had Alzheimer's, you start reverting back, you know, like decades ago. And that was of course, it was such a dramatic, you know, time of his life. His mind I learned more from him about what he did, you know, when he had Alzheimer's than when he was, you know, had his wits about him. But he named, even though he had Alzheimer's, he named every town from landing in France all the way. There was a battle called Saint Lo, Lo.
Yeah.
And he told me all these towns, and I went home and I looked on a map on the internet, and that was the exact, you know, this was all from his rote memory, right? Right. All they had was little paper. In fact, he said when they dropped us in France, they gave us this little map. He said we were so far off, we weren't anywhere on this map, you know, because one of the stories on D-Day, you know, when they dropped them in, well, actually, my dad said he dropped in the night before D-Day because there were, you know, the ones that dropped in behind enemy lines, right, to soften the Germans up for the invasion. He said we were so off course. He said that's what scared the Germans. They thought we were coming from everywhere when they were supposed to land in a concentrated place, but the navigation was so far off. They were dropped all down the western side of France. He said it was the Germans didn't know what to think, you know.
In one of the movies, they talked about that too.
Yeah.
You know, my second wife's mother, her brother-in-law, he's my wife's uncle, great uncle or uncle, and he was a paratrooper. I forget which one, but he never talked about until he was about 2 years away from dying, and he could speak German. His last name was Hoffman, you know? And he said there was so much unspeakable shit being done. They used him as an interpreter. You know, he'd always feed them some bullshit, you know. But he never talked with no one till he was about 2 years away from dying. You know, no family members, none of that stuff. It was said was such a traumatic deal. You know, you going down, people getting.
That's one thing I think back of it now. You know, when you're a kid, you don't really see life the way we do now. But my dad never feared any man. You know, he never we never locked our doors in our house. You know.
Yeah, it was like that in Ohio too, but.
And I think if my dad had a gun, it was, you know, somewhere away. I don't know. I know he had a couple German pistols like Lugers that were probably, you know, war trophies, but never, you know, he never feared. As a kid, you're thinking of the boogeyman. You know, oh, what if someone breaks into your house or something? You know, it's like now I realize that. You know, if anyone had broken in my house, my dad would have killed him with his bare hands. You know, I mean, because I'm sure he did kill Germans with his bare hands. You know, with bayonets, knives, whatever the fuck they had.
Hey,
you know?
when I was in the factory, this guy's name was Butch Martin. He was at the time he was about 42. He was in Vietnam, and he said, Lord, give me truth. I quit smoking weed, you know. And he was on some kind of thing at night. And the guy next to him got shot in the head. I said, well, what does head look like? He said, what head? Fucking like a 50 caliber, just fucking turned it into roast beef, man. You know?
It's like dropping a watermelon 4 stories off a building onto a sidewalk.
He apparently, you know, he handled that shit, you know. He said,
Sorry, I got a phone call.
what was I saying?
That was the dentist office. You were talking about some guy 40 years old, worked somewhere.
Oh, yeah. So he's in the back of this deuce and a half going down the road. And the locals, they'd always run up to get the sea rats, you know.
Right.
And he was just in a mood, man. He took a can he had, I don't know if it was a vegetable or peaches, and he fired it fucker hard. And he said it hit this old man right and square in the forehead. And the guy was standing upright, and he went down like a fucking, you know, like in the movies, real, and he wasn't moving. So he either knocked him out or he killed him, you know. You saw the guys in the truck were laughing their asses off. But yeah, just a fucked up place to be, man. Golly. But I always had a curiosity, you know, come home from school. There it is on the tube every night. And my dad had a friend at the factory that came over with some slideshow. And my dad he still had, well, I don't know where it is now. It's a Bell and Howell projector.
Yeah, my dad had one of those. Yeah, 8mm, was it, or 16?
Yeah, it was red. It was red plastic and white or off cream, and the screen, you know. So when I went to Ohio, my uncle died. I forgot what slides that were of Ohio because they weren't marked. So I had to go through all of that shit real quick. I'm glad I didn't have to deal with that. I don't have. When you have to, you have to. I guess, you know. I was always curious about it, so I wanted to go there. You know, I'd go to Hanoi from here and then go down to Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City. You know,
Yeah, I'd go visit there now. I mean,
I'm so close. I mean, it cost me. Well, the price of tickets are going way up because I think they privatized the airport of Manila, which they say that these rate hikes were going to happen anyway, which is, you know, I don't know. Don't blame
what
us.
can you
Kind
get
of,
a round trip ticket to Vietnam for?
I don't know, but I look, man, low under 1,000.
Oh, really? That much?
Not anymore.
Huh.
Well, it depends. I mean, with time of the year and all that good shit, you know.
Right.
I'm not going now. I'm not going to fly to Hanoi right now. It'd be freaking cold, you know. I don't want that shit. But the two sections look different from what I've seen on video. But you know, I felt like going there. Maybe, hey, can I use my GoPro, man? Walk around. They don't object, you know. Maybe they. Because I never see. I haven't looked at it in a long time, but I've never seen anybody channel show that.
Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't. I would go there. I would not go to China. I mean,
One guy
I'd
said,
love to because there's places I'd love to see, but you know, being prior military and I don't know. I just think that we're still in their list. You know, I mean, they still have, you know,
you know what? You know
my
what this
social
is.
security number, or you know what I mean.
You know what? You know what?
I had a colonel. I had a full bird Army colonel, retired Army colonel in my church. Him and his wife just got back from China. They went on vacation there. And I'm like, you didn't feel uncomfortable being a full bird colonel, retired, going to China? I said they can just drum some shit up and detain you for some reason, you know? They can do that because that's the kind of country they are.
Yeah, that's the government. But I mean, like for me, all these years, I used to think this was a certain way, that was a certain way. But I come to the realization that governments have issues with other governments, not necessarily other people in the government.
Right.
You know.
And I'd love to, you know, and I know people are people all over the world.
Well,
the Chinese people aren't their government. The Russian people aren't their government. We're not our government, you know. So people all over the world. It's just going to their system and everything from what I understand there, you have to use your phone to buy because it's basically cashless society in China.
I'd go to China before I'd go to Russia.
Yeah, right now, yeah. But if it ever changes, I'd love to see that, you know, part of what freaked my dad out at the end of World War II. He spent, I think, 6 months in Germany after the end of the war because he knew how to read, write, and type, you know. So they kept him around saying, hey, we got all these German prisoners, you know. They had to figure out what they're going to do, you know, with Germany, what became West Germany, right? But he wanted to go on leave to go where his father was from, Poland, right? The far eastern corner, southeastern corner of Poland, which my grandfather actually considered himself Ukrainian because that's what he put on his race, on his immigration was Ukrainian, but he immigrated from Poland. But anyways, my dad wanted to go visit and the army was like, no, you can't go there. And he's like, why? He said, because you have an uncle in the Russian military, a colonel in the Russian military.
Really?
my dad was like, really? and our army told him, they said, yeah. So we suggest you don't go visit him, you know?
Well, maybe it was some bullshit story too, though. You know?
Yeah, it could have been, but he very well could have had, you know, what became the Eastern Bloc, right? When they separated Germany into East and West.
They really fucked up that country, didn't they? They in Berlin, you know, in the middle, they divide that. So either side of that is not necessarily you're in the Western Germany, but you're in Berlin is cut in half and it sits in Western Germany. You know?
No, Berlin was in Eastern Germany. You had there was one route that you were allowed to commute on Berlin to get to that western side of Berlin. In fact, I think we had what was it called? Tempelhof Air Base or something? Right in Berlin or something like that. I used to know guys that were stationed there, during our Cold War years when we served.
When I made it through the thing, the second time I came, there was an older guy and his wife. They said, "Oh, where are you going?" I told him he's going to Germany. The guy was about, I don't even know, man, late 60s, 70s, early 70s.
Yeah.
First trip, because he said, "Man, you sure got a lot of papers. I don't throw shit away. When I'm traveling, I got copies. I keep everything." Because when you get here,
when you're in the Army, man, you almost all you guys did sometime in Germany, somewhere in Germany,
They were ready to send me, but I used to think they sent you but there was an overstrength of Spec 4s, Specialist 4.
Yeah.
The Corps, there were too many. So my orders got canceled because I went to this class. They said, "Yeah, you gotta go to this class. Everybody that's being shipped out to Germany or wherever, there's some kind of training you gotta go through or some seminars or something." So I go to that, and then at the end of it, they ask what your name is. I told them, "Well, you don't have to go there," because I was ready to sign the bar of enlistment because I was in Illinois. I was 60 miles from home. I was ready to get the hell out anyway.
Yeah.
So I never went through that. But I needed a job at the time. That's why I went in. I mean, I wasn't sorry. I had a good experience.
Yeah, I did too. I had a wife and a 1-year-old child, son, and I didn't have a job here. All the steel mills closed, so I needed to go in. It was a steady job. It was peacetime at the time.
It was a big, big difference from the beginning of 1979 to 1980. It was like somebody shut the water faucet off. It was just, oh yeah. Well, if I come to this moment in time, everything I went through last, my whole life. So
yeah, it all worked out in the end. So.
Yeah, it did. I was surprised. I didn't think it would, man. I didn't. No idea. Christian's probably away eating again. I'm gonna get going.
Okay. Did you take the sleeping pill yet?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Christian, you didn't go to Philippines yet?
No, I have to plan how I do it because they want me to play the 25th of January and they want to have practice the 22nd, so to figure out how I do it.
Okay.
You have a lot to practice, right?
You taking the night off?
15 songs I never heard before, so
play the same fucking note for all of them.
Well, that's a little mental stimulation for you there.
People be drunk, you know the fucking difference, man. No.
I'm
That's
playing
a
with
different church, Tony.
I'm playing with educated professional musicians. So.
Oh man, pressure's on. Well, you can catch on. You catch on that stuff pretty quick, can't you?
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
No, when you gotta quit trying to think like you're under the gun. These fuckers are gonna call you, pick you off.
Get that song now or die. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Tony. Take care. Have a good week.
Yeah, you too.
All right.
See you next
Take care,
week.
Kristen. Enjoy yourself.
See ya.
Adios, everyone.